everyone. Thank you guys for coming. We'll start with some questions in English and then we'll come to Spanish afterwards. If we can keep it to 1 or 2 per person, that would be brilliant. Damesh, do you want to kick us off?
David, good to see you. Can you just give us an insight into the mood of the dressing room? Are there nerves, or is it belief, confidence?
The mood is great. Definitely it's not nerves, it's confidence, it's be able to replicate what we did in the first game and come here for the win.
You followed Real Madrid when you were younger. What would it mean to you to be part of a team that could knock them out of this competition?
Well, I wouldn't say I followed Real Madrid. I just followed Casillas, as I said always, that he was my idol. But we know how big of a club it is, and it'll be great to knock them out.
Alex.
Hi, David. Lots is made about Real Madrid and their ability to turn games around and the atmosphere they can create in a stadium. What can you do as a player when momentum is building? How can you stop it on the pitch?
Well, we have the momentum. I think the way we play, the way we faced in the first leg is incredible from everyone, and we're here just to create our own history, to win the game, to come in and win the game, and that's the most important thing.
Tom, did you have a question?
Hi, David. You've been at the club now for a couple of seasons. When you joined, did you imagine that you would be in this scenario perhaps as quickly as it's come to play against a team like Real Madrid in this stage of the competition? Well, when I started playing for Arsenal, we were in the Champions League, so I was convinced that we were going to play against the best teams in Europe in this competition. But you want to play against the best if you want to win trophies. So we were convinced that we were going to do well last season and hopefully even better this season.
Soraya.
Hi, David. It's commonly known that the goalkeeper position, it can be the loneliest on the pitch. We talk a lot about in the big matches, training well, preparing your body well, but how do you actually train your mind ahead of big fixtures like this?
Well, you try to be focused on what you can control. You can control your actions, you can control what you do, and you cannot control the outside and the noise and all that. So you have to be very, very focused on what you can do, and of course believe in yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, next one here.
David, keeping the crowd quiet here, it's been mentioned before, it's been mentioned earlier with the Real Madrid press conference. It's going to be difficult. We all know that, even though you have the momentum. How have you spoken about that, and how do you propose to try to keep them quiet in the stadium?
Well, like I said, that's something that we cannot control. That is out of our control. The fans, the stadium, the atmosphere, maybe the shows that they have in the stadium and all that. So that is out of control. We cannot think about that. We just have to think about ourselves, what we can control on the pitch with the ball. Play the same way that we played in the first game, and create chances and score goals. We come here just to win the game.
Ihsan?
Hi. In the first half, especially early on, you made a couple of saves against, I think, Mbappe and Vinny Jr. as well through the game. What was it like for you as a keeper going up against them kind of players, and how alert do you guys need to be to make sure that with their pace they don't get any such opportunities in this leg? Luckily, I think we faced a lot of good players in the Premier League, and everybody's ready for the challenge. We know how good the attacking Madrid is, but everybody is on the toes no matter who we play. So we just have to see it the same way as another game. Is another game as it could be playing against another opponent. So we just have to be focused on ourselves and just be ready for anything that can happen.
John?
Hello, David. The team played so well, particularly in the second half after you'd gone ahead. You know, you really went on the front foot. Is that your intention tomorrow night? Do you have to go for it as much as anything?
The intention is to win the game. That's no matter what. We know how we played in the first game, and we have to do the same. We have to do the same approach it the same way. We know we have a lead, but we come here just to win the game.
Miguel, just that.
Hi, David. Madrid are relentlessly talking about remontadas and the history and experience, and it almost feels like an attempt as much to put pressure on Arsenal. Has the manager done anything this week to shut all that out or change focus?
We are here just to write our own history. I think winning the game and getting through to the semi-finals, that's what we want to do, and that's what we're going to try and achieve tomorrow. But like I said, we're here just to recreate our own history.
And James will do last two in English, so one from James and then Tom.
Hi, David. There was a lot of focus on Jakub Kiwior before the first game. Obviously, it had come in at short notice, played very well, handled it very well. How impressed were you by him coming in that back line, and how confident are you can do it again tomorrow?
I wasn't impressed because I know how good Jakub is, and I'm very, very convinced and confident with him stepping in after the big injury that Gavi sustained against Fulham. So I wasn't surprised about his performance. I thought he was very, very, very good, and we know how good he is. He shows in training every day. So I was very, very happy with his performance because that gives him confidence. But like I said, I wasn't surprised. It was a matter of time they can show his quality.
And last one in English with Tom, yeah.
Hi, David, here. A lot of talk about beating Real Madrid and comebacks, but I guess you must think there's a real opportunity here to get to the semi-final and also potentially win this competition now.
Yeah, of course. I think that's why we play in the Champions League. I think you want to win the trophy. If not, you don't play. But we have to be focused on tomorrow to win the game tomorrow, and we will see what happens. And then from there, we just go day by day.
One down here.
Hola David, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes, bienvenido a España. Soy Antón Meana de la cadena SER. Has dicho en inglés que la intención del Arsenal es ganar el partido. Desconozco si crees que todo el tema de la remontada es más una historia periodística que un riesgo real para mañana.
No, en el fútbol puede pasar cualquier cosa, pero tenemos que plantear el partido como para ganarlo, no tenemos que plantear el partido a defenderlo. Vamos a salir a por todas desde el minuto 1 a ganar el partido.
Si tenéis en cuenta lo que ha pasado las últimas veces, eres un gran portero y aquí le ha pasado a Donnarumma, a Ederson, a Neuer, que venían con rentas y de repente en 5 minutos o en 10 les cambió el partido. ¿Eso lo tienes en cuenta o despejas la cabeza?
No, tengo la mente muy tranquila, concentrado en lo que tengo que hacer mañana, en cómo puedo ayudar al equipo tanto en defensa como ofensivamente, y cuando llegue el partido ya se verá.
Hola David, ¿qué tal? Lola Hernández, Fox por México. ¿Habéis preparado los penaltis o directamente no contempláis?
Eso lo dejo dentro del campo.
Yeah, just at the back. Yeah.
¿Qué tal, David? Juan Bobadilla para Noti Sports. Tú que eres español, no sé si has tenido tiempo estos días de leer la prensa en la que, bueno, se habla ya prácticamente de la remontada antes de que se produzca el partido. ¿Qué te parece, cómo están tratando en los medios el partido antes de que se juegue?
La verdad que la prensa la miro poco, sinceramente, pero bueno, al fin y al cabo ellos están haciendo, miran por ellos mismos, por su club y por el partido que quieren jugar, y es lícito, ¿no?, de tener esa confianza con ellos mismos, igual que la confianza la tenemos nosotros con nosotros mismos. Nosotros vamos a hacer nuestro partido desde ya y ya está.
We'll take the last few now. Yeah.
Hola David. ¿Qué tal? Andrés Rubio de Televisión Española. Antes ha dicho Carlo Ancelotti que el Madrid mañana tiene que salir con cabeza, corazón y cojones, como dice Carlos Alcaraz. ¿Cómo tiene que salir mañana el Arsenal a este estadio que será una olla a presión?
Súper convencido de ganar el partido. Esa es la manera que tenemos que salir mañana al campo, y creo que lo estamos.
And last question here.
Hola David, por acá, Juanjo Rueda de Caliente TV México. En medio de toda esta conversación de remontadas, yo te quería preguntar, ¿han acudido ustedes en el vestuario, a través del entrenador, a aquel partido en el cual el Arsenal consiguió aquí la victoria de 1-0 con Thierry Henry en 2006? ¿Ha sido parte de la conversación entre ustedes como para entender que el equipo ya lo ha hecho antes?
Sabemos de esa historia, no creo que haya sido un tópico de vestuario, pero creo sabemos que el Arsenal ganó aquí y demás, pero creo que estamos muy enfocados en lo que tenemos que hacer nosotros mañana, y el pasado es pasado y vamos a afrontar el presente.
Cool. We'll finish there. Thank you, guys.
Muchas gracias a todos. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, hope everyone's well.
Hola.
Joined here by our manager MIKEL ARTETA. We'll take questions in English first. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and then start with English, then we'll go to our Spanish colleagues after. So if we can kick off in English first, we'll go to Alex from the BBC.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Could we just start with team news, please? Is there
Yeah.
any updates for us?
The positive one, Ben White, he's managed to train with us today, so he will be in the squad.
Thomas Partey, is he fit enough to be involved? And what about Jorginho as well?
Yeah, he's available. He had a little niggle during the game, that's why he had to come off. But he felt good after the last few days, so he's fine. And Georgie, unfortunately, is not here. After the incident of the weekend, he hasn't recovered. So, yeah, our thoughts are with him.
How would you approach this game? Do you ignore the fact that you're 3-0 in the lead, or do you take that into account?
To win it, the same that we did in London, our preparation has been the things that we have to do, the things that we have to dominate throughout the game in different phases to give us the best possible chance to win the game. That's clear our mindsets, and that we're going to play tomorrow.
And finally, there's been lots of talk about comebacks and the noise in the stadium tomorrow night. How would you make sure that your players don't get wrapped up in the emotion?
I understand that is part of their history, and they have the right to be talking about these kind of scenarios. Ours is very different, and our mindset, preparation, our thoughts, and how we're going to have the best chance to be better than them in the aspects that are crucial in the game, because we're going to try to take the game to places very different to our intentions, and if we do that, we're going to have a good chance to win the game.
Dharmesh from Sky Sports.
Hi there, Mikel.
Hi.
We spoke to Jude Bellingham earlier. He says that the word that is buzzing around the Madrid camp is comeback or remontada. What's the key attribute that your team has to show in this game, do you feel?
The same mindset. The mindset to win, to be brave, to be dominant, to be determined, and to have the conviction that we can be better than them and win the game.
Last one from me. Creating your own history has been a real theme from you and your players. Has that been the constant message that you've been sending them through this week?
But for sure, and without when you have to create a story, when you have to build a story, first of all, you have to be excited about it. They have to be really prepared about it, and then you have to be really convinced about what you want to achieve. And then it's about insisting and go step by step. And a lot of clubs have built a history by doing it many times, trying many times, sometimes failing, sometimes being successful. And last year we had an experience, and with that one we want to be better this season and apply that to be in the semi-finals, which it will be only our third time in the history of our football club.
John from the Mirror in the UK.
Hello, Mikel. When we saw Carlo Ancelotti earlier, he talked about his players needing heart and balls for tomorrow night. I just wonder, from what you've seen this season, can your players match and better that in both departments tomorrow night?
Yes, there are three main aspects in the game. It's the physical aspect, the technical and tactical aspect, and the emotional aspect. And that emotional aspect is very significant because I have a lot of reassurance for what the team has done all season. In positive context and in very difficult context, which I think it's probably the pathway and why those things happened. So to prepare us to scenarios like this and to be convinced that we can handle any situation and we're going to enjoy actually playing any kind of game that we have to be thrown tomorrow.
Mikel, Independent.
Hi, Mikel. Have you done anything different to prepare this week, even psychologically? Because obviously it's quite a strange situation. You're 3-0 up, yet the Madrid kind of noise is trying to make you believe that you should doubt in some way.
Yeah, hopefully every game we do it differently. If not, it will be very boring for 70 games, prepare the same plan and the same scenario for the players. So it's a different context, as I said, to the first leg. That's in the past. We take learnings from it, some very good, some others that we have to do still better than we did in London. and then have the capacity to have the intention to take the game where we want and have very able to adapt quickly to any other kind of a scenario to take the game where we want again.
Ian, BBC Radio 5 Live.
Hello, Mikel.
Hi.
Two questions in one, if I may.
Yeah.
How do you block out that external noise? Because the narrative here in Spain is if
Impossible. Outside, no, we can do it on the pitch. Now, I understand that is a narrative that, that is going to give the fuel to them.
But also, my other point was, it's over 100 games since you lost by a 3-goal margin.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that resilience that you've found in the last couple of years? And what was your message be to the team in the dressing room before you leave for the field?
That we have to do it again. I think it's over 472 days or something like this, but it doesn't matter. We have to prove it now in this context, and that's the beauty of it. That's the challenge, and that's the great thing about sports, and that we've shown that we are capable of doing it. That has to give us reassurance and confidence that we can do it. And now let's talk on the pitch and do it on the pitch. It's the only thing that matters.
Okay, over here to Tom from Football London.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
There's been a lot of talk here in Spain, particularly about the word fear and suggesting that Arsenal are fearful of the Real Madrid comeback. Have you seen anything in your players that suggests you've seen any fear in your team this week?
No, I wouldn't use that word. I mean, I think respect, admiration for what they've done in the competition as a club over the years, the history that they have, the values that they defend. Unbelievable, amazing, an inspiration for any coach, any manager, any team. But after that is the competition, is what we are going to face tomorrow, an opposition that we know very well and that we are determined to go out there and try to win the game.
And obviously all the talk and all the videos that people watched over and over again was around Declan Rice's free kicks. Has he been practicing more this week?
Yes, he has, and if he can create any more of those moments, that will be amazing. It was a great moment. I think the third goal as well was beautiful to watch, a very collective goal, and yeah, when you go to that stage, you're going to have big team moments, big individual moments, and that's time to do it on the pitch.
Phil PA.
Hi, Mikel. You said obviously if Arsenal get through, it's only the third semi-final. If you get it over the line, do you think that's the greatest achievement of your career? And do you sense any nerves at all within this squad ahead of tomorrow's game?
I think it's excitement. I think when we talk about creating that, look how small the history is. We never won the competition, and we are trying to do something now consistently where we can start to dominate the European competition. We have to earn the right tomorrow to do that. In these big stages, it doesn't get any better than this, and I think it's a great opportunity for the team to do it.
Okay, we'll get to as many people as possible, but the last two in English now. Firstly, Jordan from The Sun behind you there.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
You say about it's impossible to block out the noise and the narrative before the game starts. Is there any danger that when the players walk onto the pitch, it's going to be in their minds that they can do this, they have done this before? What if we're the next team to suffer?
We have tried to repeat the opposite message. So in the brain of the players, what they have here in the last 72 hours is something completely different. And we are very close to them. And hopefully that's more powerful than anything else. But again, you have to be out there, you have to experience it, you have to feel it, and you have to go through it. And that's what we have to do tomorrow.
Okay, finally one in English for Isan from the Daily Mail.
Hi, Mikel. With obviously Declan Rice's 2 free kick goals just the other week, has that kind of whetted the appetite for more from him from an attacking sense? And in terms of midfielders in England, how high would you rank him up there after his performances this season and last season too?
Yeah, again, I think he's creating the story with us, and that moment is going to be in our history for a while, especially the way he did it, the manner he did it, and doing it twice, which is very, very rare. So it's about creating more, and now I think he's going to have the belief that he's capable of delivering those kind of moments more and more, and that's something very important, because if he believes more, it's going to happen more often.
Okay, that's done in English. We'll now go to our colleagues in Spain. Firstly from Juan Castro.
Mikel, buenas tardes. Juan Castro, de Marca. Bienvenido a España. Bueno, se habla mucho del ambiente del Bernabéu, pero los datos dicen 79 partidos que no os meten más de 3 goles y tenéis 18 puertas a cero en 49 partidos esta temporada. ¿Esos datos te dicen algo de cara al partido de mañana? Gracias.
Es lo que me hace estar convencido de que el equipo está preparado y que lo ha demostrado en diferentes contextos, contra muy diferentes rivales, pero al final va de demostrarlo mañana. Y esto es lo bonito de este deporte, que lo que has hecho ayer da igual, el equipo está convencido, está preparado y mañana pondremos todo lo que podamos para que los argumentos que tiene el Madrid se minimicen y los nuestros sean durante el partido lo más frecuentes y fuertes posibles.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes, soy Antón Meana de la cadena SER. Estamos preguntando mucho a la prensa por la remontada, incluso compañeros en inglés le han hablado de esa, no sé cómo llamarlo, narrativa, esa liturgia. No sé si como entrenador se puede trabajar, que aquí ha pasado en las últimas temporadas, a grandes entrenadores, grandes clubes con ventaja, el Bayern, el City, el PSG, dejando a un lado la liturgia. No sé si futbolísticamente hablando se puede pensar en eso, en que hoy el Madrid hace los partidos largos, no le importa si te pones por delante. No sé si eso, como entrenador, se trabaja de cara a una eliminatoria en la que jugaron tan bien y ganaron 3-0 en la ida.
Claro que sí, al final es parte del análisis de un rival, entender el por qué han pasado las cosas. Y hay cosas que están en la mano, cosas que están en el azar, y luego la calidad que tienen ellos de generar ese caos y ese momento en momentos donde al final el nivel de incertidumbre es muy grande. Entonces, ¿cómo prevenir eso? Pues intentar entrenarlo, enseñarlo y que no pase.
Hola, Mikel, ¿qué tal?
Hola.
Hola, Hernández, Fox por México. Con el 3-0, ¿habéis preparado los penaltis o lo descartas?
Los penaltis los preparamos cada semana, porque si los tenemos que preparar un día solo para otra eliminatoria, como cualquier otra fase del juego, esa que es la más crucial, creo que vamos mal.
Gentleman in the green shirt, yeah.
¿Qué tal, Mikel? Diego Plaza, del Chiringuito. Hace unos años, en 2021, si no me equivoco, cuando ibais a ir a Anfield, estuviste entrenando con el You'll Never Walk Alone en los altavoces. No sé si has hecho algo parecido o cómo has preparado psicológicamente a tus jugadores para el ambiente del Bernabéu mañana.
No he hecho algo parecido, creo que cada partido es diferente. Pero la parte emocional, la parte mental es eso. Sobre todo de que estén súper convencidos de que estamos preparados, darles argumentos de por qué estamos convencidos de que estamos preparados y que mañana hay que salir de ahí con una determinación, una valentía tremenda para hacerlo. Y eso es lo que he intentado transmitir a los jugadores y que se lo sientan. Y lo hicimos en Londres y eso pasó y ahora hay que hacerlo en un contexto diferente. Y es lo bonito de estar en un escenario como este.
Okay, gentleman, that's it.
Hola, Mikel. Una pregunta quizás un poco estúpida, pero ¿por qué jugar para ganar cuando se hay una ventaja de 3 goles?
Porque es la manera en la que nos sentimos más cómodos y la manera por la que jugamos al fútbol, para ser mejor que el rival y que la probabilidad de ganar sea la más alta posible. Intentando entender lo que quiere hacer el rival, hacia dónde quiere llevar el partido, y cuanto más nos acerquemos a eso, obviamente mucho más cerca vamos a estar de las semifinales.
¿Qué tal, Mikel? Juan Bobadilla para Noti Sports. Se pregunta mucho por el equipo, por eso de la remontada, pero ¿cómo estás tú a menos casi de 24 horas para el partido y si dirías que es el partido más importante en tu carrera como entrenador?
Yo
Gracias.
estoy para jugar, unas ganas de jugar, de vivir mañana este momento con los jugadores, con el club, en un escenario que al final es lo que hemos intentado hacer durante estos últimos años, meter al club y posicionarlo a este nivel contra los mejores rivales de Europa e intentar ser mejor que ellos y estar en semifinales.
Okay, we'll take the final 2 questions. Firstly, the gentleman in the white at the back there, with the hand up at the back there, and then we'll come to the final question with this gentleman down here.
Buenas tardes, mister. Eduardo Vidal para HSM Deportes. Yo le quería preguntar primero si usted se siente presionado de cara al día de mañana y segundo, si se siente cómodo en este tipo de contextos sabiendo la presión y la importancia que tiene un juego como el día de mañana en la historia personal. Gracias.
Los días más bonitos de la semana para mí son los días que competimos, los días que jugamos, que el cuerpo siente esa adrenalina, esas ganas de competir. Es por lo que amo esta profesión, por el motivo por el que estoy aquí. Y si tuviera que elegir uno de los escenarios que más ilusión me hacía, seguramente sería este. Así que con muchas ganas.
Mikel, ¿qué tal? Marcelo Doval, de Dosis Futbolera. Recién en una de tus respuestas en inglés hablabas de los 3 factores del fútbol, el físico, el técnico-táctico y el emocional. Sabes que si el partido se va al plano emocional, pues probablemente lleváis las de perder en este estadio. ¿Qué tiene que hacer el Arsenal para que el fútbol sea lo que predomine y no el aspecto emocional?
Depende, si llevamos el estado emocional positivo hacia Arsenal y de frustración a ellos, creo que el partido está mucho más cerca de lo que queremos hacer nosotros, pero esto irá dependiendo de cada acción, de cada momento, del transcurso del partido, pero el contexto del resultado, sobre todo al principio del partido, no puede cambiar demasiado eso, porque si no, como tú has dicho, el partido irá en una trayectoria que no nos interesa.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you.